Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Space Marine chapters as we get into the Iron Snakes. This was a viewer request. If you guys have more requests, please comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe because we post new Warhammer 40K videos every single day. With that said, let's get into 40 Facts About the Iron Snakes. The Iron Snakes are a second founding Loyalist Space Marine chapter of unknown origin. The Iron Snakes chapter's primary task is to guard a cluster of Imperial solar systems known as the Reef Stars, close to their homeworld of Ithaca, which is infrequently plagued by orcs and more frequently by Dark Eldar. The Iron Snakes' power armor is painted gunmetal gray with a golden aquila. Their shoulder plates are trimmed in red as a standard color scheme, but otherwise are painted in the hues of the chapter's varying squad colors. The Iron Snakes chapter badge is a coiled blue snake on a white background. The Iron Snakes take their name from the giant sea serpent called water worms that inhabit their homeworld of Ithaca's vast oceans. The first days of the Iron Snakes are difficult to definitely determine in Imperial records. Reportedly a second founding chapter, their first founding Space Marine Legion of origin is unknown, although they pay great respects to the Primarch Guilliman. It is uncertain if they are actually an Ultramarine successor chapter. The Iron Snakes recruit their neophytes from Ithaca, an Imperial ocean world commonly referred to by its people as the Cradle of Snakes, which is largely covered in very deep oceans and home to a variety of sea life, including the great serpents, water worms. Despite being designated as an ocean world by the Imperium, Ithaca does possess significant landmass, including tropical islands and viciously cold polar regions. The Iron Snakes are therefore able to train in a series of different environments, although the sea is the most precious to them. The giant sea waterworms native to the planet are divided into types. A Krakentire, or mature male bull waterworm, is known to grow up to 300 meters in length. The chapter uses these worms in hunting exercises for its initiates, and in ritual punishment of Ithanera. The waterworms are known to cause what the locals refer to as worm storms, ferocious squalls that seem to follow the movements of the marine serpents. One of these worm storms eventually causes what the locals call the folding walls of iron, giant tsunamis that raise up out of the deep waters and come crashing into the settled islands while standing kilometers high. The Iron Snakes' actual fortress monastery, which they refer to as the chapter house, is located on Ithaca's fortress moon, Charybdis, and features a giant bell as large as a Space Marine drop pod. The chapter house is a mighty bastion with sloped turrets lined with Earthshaker cannons, massive curtain walls, and hard-point blisters of Hydra batteries. The chapter house contains armories, forges, training halls, a chapel, and the apothecarion. It also contains a main bath pool, known as the Hall of Balneary. The Balneary is 50 meters square and filled with the sacred seawater imported from Ithaca. The Tholos lays beneath the chapter house, anchored deep in the rocky crust. This was a stockade for Astartes of the Iron Snakes that were seldom used due to the meticulous discipline of the chapter. Its most common residents were prisoners of war, held pending interrogation under the watchful eyes of the veteran Astartes, who served as the wardens known as Archons. While the nominal fighting strength of the chapter, or Praetari, as it is referred to by the Iron Snakes, is kept at the Codex Astartes approval of about 1,000 Space Marines, the Iron Snakes do not appear to use the Codex prescribed company structure, instead basing their organization around that of the simple 10-man Space Marine squad, rather than the 100-man company. Like most chapters, the Iron Snakes possess elite battle brothers, referred to as notables, that make up the core group of veteran Space Marines, which they do not refer to as such. Since the Iron Snakes notables do not properly represent a pool of veteran squad Marines, as in the first companies of most other chapters. Therefore, like other chapters, the Iron Snakes notables more than likely make up the chapter's Terminator Armored Elite, though it is unknown if they are deployed exclusively as part of their own notable Frateri squad, or are spread amongst the other various Frateri squads of the chapter. The first squad leaders of the chapter have become immortalized within their ranks, as their names have been retained as the official designation of the squads they first led. Every squad in the chapter is known by the name of its first sergeant, and careful attention is paid to recording the deeds of each squad and the glory they have accumulated. Recruits referred to as petitioners within the chapter do not appear to take the field as scout marines like the neophytes of most other chapters. Instead, they operate as chapter staff and personal servants of the full Battle Brothers. When casualties incurred require the elevation of a petitioner to the rank of a full Space Marine, the petitioners try out for the position by engaging their potential squad mates in single combat. Winners of these competitions, or those judged particularly skillful by their squad sergeant, are chosen to become full Battle Brothers and members of the squad. Places in the notables are competed for in the same way as other squads, which means that the notables are just as likely to have petitioners in their ranks as they are to have hardened veteran Space Marines. Of course, the petitioners that manage to win a place in the notable squad are likely to be the best of their generation. When a squad is completely wiped out, it is reconstituted under the original name, with its new sergeant being promoted from the ranks of the Eldar or most veteran battle brother of the other squads. Each squad leader is expected to eventually nominate a successor from within his squad, who will be chosen to accompany him to officer-level briefings and take over command in the event of his death. This Astarte will likely remain tied to his squad until his own death. As such, seconds are not promoted out to command other squads. Each squad will also contain a standard bearer, who fixes the squad's color to a special mounting upon his armor, and a support weapon trooper, with a plasma gun and flamer appearing to be chapter favorites for the weapon support role in a squad. The notable squads also appear to include an apothecary as one of their numbers, and such specialist Space Marines are a common feature of other Iron Snake squads as well. The number of field apothecaries in the Iron Snakes appear likely to be higher than that of a fully Codex Astarte-compliant chapter. When a mission referred to within the chapter as an undertaking is decided upon, the Iron Snake's chapter master announces how many squads he believes are required to ensure its success. All squad leaders who wish to volunteer their units for the mission then place their token into a kilix, a form of drinking cup whose origin lies in ancient Greece on Terra. The chapter master then decides which squad to assign to the undertaking based upon which token he finds in the kilix. While the squad is the principal tactical unit of the chapter, sometimes even less manpower is deployed. In case of responding to general aid requests from the worlds of the Reef Stars, it is customary to dispatch only one battle brother from the closest squad to investigate. The Astarte chosen is often either the newest member of the squad, or a member being considered for the role of successor by the squad leader. A one-person undertaking is seen as a fitting challenge for such Space Marines. Historically, only one warrior usually sufficed in the case of general aid requests, though it is no shame for the individual to request the presence of his brothers, once appraised of the specific situation. Though the Iron Snakes are able to deploy an acceptable number of vehicles, and also include dreadnoughts and librarians amongst their force, the primacy of the combat squad means that they concentrate on basic infantry tactics in battle. The chapter's armory is able to issue combat shields, war blades, short power swords, and sea lances, javelin-type fighting spears, commonly referred to as Astarte power spears, to the Battle Brothers, enabling them to close up and use phalanx shield wall tactics. They are particularly skillful with the sea lance. As part of the petitioner's training on their homeworld of Ithaca, it involves the hunting and slaying of the large, predaceous waterworms native to the Feral planet. Each Iron Snake is issued with 2 sea lances before battle, to be used and disposed of, and the Battle Brothers are issued fresh lances before the next engagement. The Iron Snakes are a meticulously disciplined chapter, though they deviate significantly from the Codex Astarte. The water from Ithaca's ocean is considered sacred by its people, and when the Iron Snake's Battle Brothers are called to go to a distant war, they perform one last act before leave-taking, a ceremony known as the Rite of the Claiming of Water. This life water is carried in a copper flask by every member of the chapter to anoint every planet that they step foot on in a ritual ceremony called the Rite of the Giving of Water. When these battle brothers return to their homeworld, the remaining water in these vials is given back to the oceans of Ithaca, in a rite known as the Rite of the Returning. The cremated remains of those Iron Snake Astartes slain in battle are also returned in ceremonial copper urns, known as usips. Usually, the senior-most battle brother in the squad of the deceased performs the last sacred duty. As the lament of dice is intoned, the lid of each urn is unscrewed, and the gray ash is shaken out. The fallen's remains are sieved away into the wind and returned to the water of the sea. The fallen Astartes squad leaders carries prepared statements written on a scroll of paper about the valiant dead's life, actions, and death, sealed and ready to be placed within the archives of the chapter's house. Often these scrolls also contain full orders of merit, laying out the full details of an Iron Snake Spacemarine service within the chapter, as well as the accommodations and decorations he has earned. Another common practice of the Iron Snakes is a ritual punishment, used against those Astartes who have committed a terrible crime, known as the Thinars, or trial by worm. This is the worst fate a man of Ithaca can undergo. The accused is left alone and unarmed on a stilt rock, forced to face the worms as they are summoned. If the accused man is still alive at the end of 6 hours, he is considered guilty of the charges against him. The people of Ithaca believe that the waterworms will not defile themselves by touching a guilty man. If they take the accused, he is one of Ithaca's chosen children, and his innocence will be celebrated in a funeral song and grieving rites. And those were 40 facts about the Iron Snakes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about the Iron Snakes, jump on over to the wiki page. Link is down in the description. They're going to include more details that we did not include in this video. And again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in every single day to watch our videos. Comment down below. Give us your suggestion for next Space Marine chapter. Simply put suggestion in front of your request, and we'll tally those up and see what other Space Marine chapter we will create a lore video for. And again, guys, if you want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. If you can't, simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, you really help out the channel. With that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.